Lazarus Planet again, and I have to say something that I've been really liking about the series so far, and that is the covers, because we get all sorts of different characters on them, and they're all together, and it's just really cool to see. This time around we got Shazam, Mary Marvel, Yara Flor, and something that looks like a mix of Doomsday and Martian Manhunter. Also, fun fact, Yara Flor isn't even in this issue, so why is she on the cover? This issue starts off with a family hunting up in the north, with the dad complaining about how people with capes are making the world crazy. But that's when the dog starts barking a lot, and they find what looks like a pond of bodies, and there's only one alive. The family take this body back to their home to help him, and they have no signal, so they can't exactly get help. Nor does the father seem to care and think they should just let him die. Okay, but another man argues back as well as the other man's daughter that they need to help him. But that's when he wakes up, and it seems like he has powers. But then the ginger dad hits him with a gun that doesn't go so well for this guy because he replies by eating him. Okay, only his elbow, but I thought that was pretty funny. The stranger then grabs the dog and jumps out the window. You don't mess with the dog, but luckily Aquaman shows up to talk the man down and give the dog back. Aquaman explains that the volcano affected them and that these people are like him now, and that they're not actually dead, but they just seem dead. And that's it for Story 1. Story 2 starts with Martian Manhunter in space observing Earth. John discovers a new metahuman that's been given powers by Lazarus and is now an empath. He's been using these powers trying to take away people's pain during this hard time. His name is Raphael, and he's been going around in Metropolis trying to help people, but as he walks the streets, he collapses in front of a Superman statue. John shows up trying to help him, but it doesn't exactly work out, because John feels the pain that the city has still from when Doomsday attacked. And it turns out Doomsday doesn't need much to return. And it's actually changing Raphael into another Doomsday just by memory. But then John steps in, and it starts to take over John's mind, as it's stronger than he anticipated. He tries his best to contain Doomsday, but it's difficult, so Raphael steps in, sacrificing his own life to take away Doomsday and save John. And Raphael himself was turned into a red stone, and we see later on John is telling Superman all of this, clearly still upset that Raphael died to save him. Story 3 was the mascara, where we see where Wonder Woman has been during all of this. We see an Amazon singing as a green glow appears in a well, while Wonder Woman herself is training a new Amazon by the name of Baya. Diana seems happy training, telling her that she needs to know that she's a part of the Amazons and not to look down on herself. That's when something green shows up on the shore and Baya vanishes. Diana jumps into the water to see a group of zombie gods and demigods who've taken Baya. Diana fights through them, trying to save her, and for a minute it seems like she won't be able to, but then Diana pushes up back to shore with Baya, telling her she needs to get ready for a fight. But then the zombies appear, so Diana and Baya have to fight them by themselves, trying to keep them away from the rest of the island, trying to keep them on the beach just like that. Because these zombies clearly want to kill all the Amazons. But luckily Diana's sister is the queen of the Amazons, and Nubia appears with an army of Amazons by her side attacking. But Nubia explains that, well, the souls of the well are kind of leaking out, and they're only the souls of those who are evil that the Amazons have killed. Meaning they want revenge. And the story ends with them saying it will be continued in the Revenge of the Gods one-shot. In the final story, starts with a Mary Marvel with a magic bunny named Hoppy on her shoulder, flying into contact looking for Black Adam, while Malik runs around looking for him too. And Mary explains she had a vision of Black Adam and that she needs his help. But then Malik explains to her that Adam isn't here, which actually kind of makes her break down because she needs his help to free Billy from the Rock of Eternity. But that's when she realizes it wasn't Adam she was here to look for, it was Malik. Because in the vision, she just saw somebody with the powers and just presumed it was Black Adam. But there was somebody else with Black Adam, and it was him. Malik explains that he needs more context. So the bunny explains Mary Marvel is Mary Marvel and has the powers of Shazam. Hoppy then also says Billy has been trapped in the Rock of Eternity. Malik just freaks out over the fact that the bunny can talk. And it's just too crazy for him. So he doesn't want to help. So Mary says she'll do it by herself with the magic talking bunny who wants candy. But Malik sees he needs the help because he was raised to be a good person, and he turns into his white Adam form before flying after Mary to help. The two break into the Rock of Eternity along with the rabbit, where things seem to be different, as typically the Rock of Eternity isn't so gloomy. Then Billy shows up, explaining that they should not be here, and he seems to be no longer in control of himself as he just attacks them, along with other versions of himself. But Mary gets an idea that, yeah, these Billies aren't really Billies, so she shoots up into the ceiling to find Billy is chained up, and was actually trying to scare them away because now that they're here, they can never leave either. But don't worry, that's an exaggeration because next panel they're already free. Billy uses his powers to break out, and they just leave. He has a reunion with his siblings while we see that Zeus is watching over, which he's angry about. Which will also be continued in Revenge of the Gods. In my opinion, this issue has various stories that vary in quality. Personally, I think my favorite was definitely the Wonder Woman one. I love seeing Wonder Woman as both a lover and a fighter, something that is sometimes forgotten by many. I love how she's so empathetic towards a fellow Amazon on the beach, saying that she is just as much as every other Amazon on the island. But then there was that whole underwater fight that I thought was amazing. You saw that she was struggling, but you also thought that she was trying to get through it. She was trying to say baya. It was a very nice touch to show that the character is very much stressed right now and the stakes are high, but she is definitely very much holding her own. So I like that they had both her be a lover and a fighter in the very same issue. I also really liked the fight on the beach, but she didn't really do much there. She did the most underwater when she fought the skeletons. Speaking of the beach fight, I thought Nubia in it was great, and I love seeing her fight side by side with her sister. And I also think that the character really showed how competent she is as a leader. As her whole plan with the Amazons on the beach and then the whole closing the doors for the well, I thought was a really good idea. She didn't just send all the Amazons to the beach at once. She didn't send all the Amazons to the well. She, I thought, really handled the whole, situation very well. To the point where I think the character is kind of a better queen and leader than her actual mother, because her mom was never really the best leader in the comics. As in history, she's kind of gone evil a lot of the times. Brainwashing villains, murdering children. Nubia, on the other hand, I think definitely is a better leader and hero in that matter. So I hope she stays as queen for at least a little bit longer. I know it probably won't be forever, but I hope it could be, or potentially at least a couple more years. And for the Martian Manhunter story, I thought that was great. I love seeing his empathetic side, and I thought the fact that he was very much connected to Raphael, despite the fact that they just met, and how hard to hit him when Raphael died, because Raphael was actually trying to be a good guy there, and it didn't exactly end well. I thought it made him very much human, and I thought it very much showed why Martian Manhunter, despite the fact that his name has Martian in it, why he very much is the most probably human part of the Justice League. Meanwhile, the Mary Marvel story and the Aquaman story, they were okay, but it was very odd to me that Billy Batson so easily was able to escape the Rock of Eternity, considering the fact that they were setting it up as this big deal when it really wasn't. Well, the Aquaman story did feel a little bit filler to me. It wasn't bad, just a little bit filler. Like I said, I didn't think Mary Marvel and Aquaman had bad stories. They just weren't as good as Martian Manhunter and Wonder Woman. And that's it. Like always, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.